Good evening, everybody. Pastor David Grogan, and I am the voice of Phineas Javelin. This piece I got to do today is probably going to get the ire up with some of y'all, but that's all right. You know, we're all get over our issues. This particular piece, though, is a piece that's kind of personal. Okay, but before I go any further, I ask that if you like what you see on my videos, that you'll subscribe to my videos, subscribe to videos, and give me a thumbs up. Okay, it's good for the analytics. It's good for the analytics. And then if you desire to know when my videos are coming out, ring the bell, ding, and you'll be notified when my videos come out. Okay, very good. With that said, let's go ahead and press on with this right here. You know, when I was a kid, about 15 years old, I was running this was in Southern California. My father was stationed at March Air Force Base at the time. It's now called March Reserve Unit or something like that. I was running from one side of the base to the other side of the base. I had missed the bus, the shuttle bus that takes you from the main base over to the base housing. I'm gonna do this real quick, okay? Missed the bus there. I was training in the martial arts. My mother got me started in martial arts when I was very young. So I had missed the bus in front of the gym, and I was gonna run to the other side of the base in front of the chapel to catch the bus. Well, on the way there, running down the middle of the street through the officers' quarters, I had my gi bottoms on, my gi wrapped with my belt over my shoulder. And I was trucking young, 15 years old, moving. Right when I got to this gate, there was a woman out there. She was sweeping her sidewalk. And she must have heard me coming. When she looked up, turned around, looked up, and just as I got right there, she opened this gate. And this big Great Dane and this German Shepherd came sprinting out of this gate, barking at me, just barking. I was able to kick the German Shepherd. I kicked the German Shepherd really hard, and it kind of fell over by the curb. But the Great Dane had jumped up and put both his paws in my chest and knocked me down. And while I was on the ground, of course, they were both snapping at me, trying to bite me. I got a lot of bruises on my arms and scrapes and stuff like that, where I was trying to keep them from biting me. The man of the home must have heard the commotion, came out the back door, came out the gate, and he was hollering at the woman, who opened the gate? Why did you open the gate? Why did you let the dogs out? Okay, so we went through that. I was able to get up after he got the dogs off me. I was able to get up, still caught the bus, got home, told my mom about it. My mom got me in the car, took me back over to where it happened at. I told her where it happened at. And she, of course, talked to the people at the door, called the security police of the base, security police, and they came and talked to them. And, of course, my mother was insistent that those dogs we euthanized, and they did. At that time, it wasn't like it is today. People are so funny. I mean, they're so quick to they'd rather the dogs live and people die than the people live and the dogs die. So, but at this particular point, it didn't happen like that. Okay, just kind of wanted to give you that little quick history about why. Another reason I'm doing this little part right here, and so to take it to the next step, let me tell you like this: I hate pit bulls. I can't stand pit bulls. And I know that's why I said this will probably raise the ire of a lot of the viewers that I might have. But I just can't stand pit bulls. They're very dangerous animals. And so, when I decided to do this piece, just to let you know, I am an animal lover myself. For the first 40-something years of my wife and I's marriage, our relationship, 41 years, I've always had cats. Meow out to the cats. I've always had cats, and we've always had cats. And of course, every member of my family right now has dogs. We have dogs in all parts of the family, so it's not like I'm totally against them. Just don't have a lot of friendship or a lot of love for pit bulls. And so let's go a little bit further. The reason I said that I was we had a incident here in San Antonio, Texas. Matter of fact, let me put my visual accumulators on. I'll go ahead and read this little part of this article first before I take it to the next step. Okay. So 2 days ago, which this is October the 11th right now. This actually happened on October the 9th. I believe October the 9th was the actual date. Babysitter's dog's maul toddler, 1-year-old, to death despite hero girl who was 13 making every effort possible to save to save the little boy. This is what the police said, and this happened in Converse, Texas, which is really right down the street from where I live, not too far down the street from where I live, probably 6 miles away from where I live. Happened right down there. Okay, so let me just read it. And this is from this article is coming from the wait, hold on, let me get my thing's not this thing is sliding here. It's coming from the People magazine, and it is dated the October the 10th, 2024. Okay, so the article, this is what the article reads: a Texas woman is charged with injury to a child after police say a year-old boy was mauled to death by pit bulls. Pit bulls, okay? Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar said during a press briefing that Heather Rodriguez, 36, was arrested after allegedly leaving the boy that she was babysitting, Jairia Johnson, with her 13-year-old daughter in a home with the dogs on Monday, October the 7th. Salazar alleged that while Jairia, Jariah, there you go, I got it. Jariah was in a room with the 13-year-old in a separate room from the dogs. The animals were able to break into the room and began attacking the child. At one point, the girl, who did her best to protect the 1-year-old, according to the sheriff, was allegedly engaged in a tug-of-war with the dogs for the boy. The girl was able to get into a bathroom with Jariah, but the dogs again broke through, Salazar said. It goes on to say, Salazar said he believed 4 dogs were involved in the attack, which also injured the 13-year-old. And the animal control would ultimately decide if the pit bulls would be put down. Look, there wouldn't have been no question as far as I'm concerned. They'd have been gone goose. They'd have been dead wood. Okay, these pit bulls. It goes on to say Jariah eventually succumbed to his injuries, which included a badly damaged windpipe, which allegedly prevented him from breathing on his own, according to the sheriff. Salazar called the girl. Here. Salazar called the girl's efforts to protect Jariah heroic, saying she made every possible effort to save him. Rodriguez was charged with injury to a child with intent causing serious bodily injury to a child, causing reckless bodily injury, and endangering a child in imminent danger, causing bodily injury, according to the sheriff's office. It goes on to say it is not immediately clear if Rodriguez has entered a plea or retained an attorney. Salazar claimed that there was a previous incident involving Rodriguez's dogs, during which a person called the sheriff's office for a pit bull, preventing the caller from getting out of his car, out of their car. The sheriff added that he did not believe Jariah's parents knew about the prior incident when they allowed Rodriguez to babysit their son. I think that's the end of the article. Let's go out here and see. Yeah, that's the end of the article right there. Now, some of the articles have a little bit more. But I understand she was Rodriguez, the mother who allowed her, who left the baby that she was supposed to be babysitting with this 13-year-old child, was given $100,000 of bond at the time. That was her bond, and I don't know if she got out. Okay, so that's the incident that happened just a few days ago here in San Antonio, Texas, or Converse, Texas, is right down the road from where I live. Okay, before I decided to do this, or when I decided to do this, I went ahead and went to just get a little information. Look, there's a lot of you dog lovers out there that know dogs better than I do. I myself was getting ready to get a blue Lacey. I'm still kind of pushing it around when I want to get a blue Lacey. It's a Texas bred dog. But there's a lot of dogs that have a lot of, I call them attitudes. Cats have catitudes, dogs have dogitudes, and humans have attitudes. Okay, so I went online to the Smart Canine and just found some information pertaining to some of these dogs, specifically the pit bulls. Now get it, there's a lot of people that love pit bulls. People walk around our neighborhoods, up and down the streets, around children with pit bulls, on chains, because it had gotten to a point where pit bulls are status symbols. They have become status symbols for people, whether they're bad boys or bad girls, or maybe because of the type of dog they are. A lot of people like them for their security, but look, you can say whatever you want to say. And like I said, if this gets your ire up, just, if you're able to pray, ask the Lord to give you peace with it. If you're not saved, then just, deal with it. But pit bulls are dangerous dogs. They are very extremely dangerous dogs. So let me read this information real quick. This is from the Smart Canine. So by the numbers, dangerous dogs. So how exactly do we measure the dangerousness of a dog breed? And what factors should we be looking at? There is no correct method of 100% accurate way of measuring how dangerous a dog is, but here's what the data says. Okay, so we measure these dangerous breeds based on two statistics: how many human fatalities, deaths, okay, caused by the dog breed, how many attacks from the breed have been reported. Aggressive dogs and their attacks on humans have been a heated, controversial topic ever since they started dog domestication. In the 1990s, the Centers of Disease Control, the CDC, decided to examine the data on these attacks. They discovered that the pit bull was the most dangerous breed in the United States between 1979 and 1996. In fact, pit bulls were involved in 60 fatal incidents, which is over double the number of incidents of the second place, a Rottweiler. My father-in-law had a Rottweiler, and we used to go to the house. He didn't take care of him real good. It's kind of unfortunate. But I wasn't afraid of that dog. But the dog stayed outside, and when we were there, he usually put him in a cage. For what reason? Because he was dangerous, and he knew that he didn't trust him, because we have our kids at the time were children. We didn't have grandchildren at the time. We had our children, and we didn't want those type of breeds of dogs around our kids. There comes a point, y'all, when you have to be mindful of what you're doing. Okay, let me go ahead and go further so I don't get too long. So, but of course, there are always exceptions in the Rottweiler had 29 incidents compared to the pit bull's 60 fatal incidents. But of course, there are always exceptions in addition to many external factors that can play into this. We are also not trying to generalize all dogs in a breed as dangerous and aggressive. This is simply objective data and facts we can use to measure how dangerous dogs are. Fatal dogs attacks, the report. Okay, of course, these dog attacks haven't stopped since the 1990s. Picking up where the CDC left off, the nonprofit dogsbite.org also conducted an investigation on fatal U.S. dog attacks from the years 2005 to the year 2017. Not only did they record the attacks, but also victims' age, number of dogs involved, and subsequent punishment, if any. What's alarming is that the pit bull accounted for 66% of all fatalities in the 13-year span. That's 284 deaths from 2005 to 2017. The second place Rottweiler accounted for less than 11% of fatal attacks, with a mere 45 deaths. The story is in the data, and the data tells us that the pit bull is very likely the most dangerous dog breed in the country and possibly around the world. Okay, so before I go any further, listen to me. Once again, you can say what you want to say, and that's right. I had a friend one time. He had a chow, and he told me at work when I was working on aircraft many years ago. He told me how dangerous his chow was. He was really boasting about how dangerous his chow was, and that his chow was so particular about who was around him. Even this gentleman's wife was afraid of this chow. And this chow took issue with this man's wife, and he kept the dog in his home, y'all. He kept this dog in his home, even though his dog did not particularly care for his wife. Okay, I was at home one day. The doorbell rang. I opened the door, and this gentleman was at the door with his chow. And I stepped back, man, and I didn't even step outside. I stepped back. I said, "Man, take your dog home, man." He said, I got him on a chain." I said, "No." I said, "You take your dog home right now. I don't want your dog around my house. I have kids in the house. I don't want your dog. He got irritated at me about it. He took issue with the fact that I did not want his dangerous chow that he himself had admitted was very territorial, was very mean towards other people. So I told him to take his dog home, and I didn't have no more conversation with him after that, y'all. I went ahead and closed the door. Okay. So once again, many of you that have raised pit bulls have probably might not have had any issues with pit bulls, or you're not admitting that you have had issues with pit bulls. I've had people tell me, and you will tell me yourself probably, if you really love pit bulls and you're a dog lover, if you're a fur baby lover, they're not babies, they're dogs, they're animals. They don't have souls. When they die, they go back to the dirt from which they came from. So let's do this, put first things first. Put true life, the life of a child, and the life of another human being before your love for your fur babies and these dogs. Hey, get upset with me if you want to, but you need to dig, you need to watch. Okay, so this is the thing. I've had people tell me, well, if you raise a dog right, if you raise pit bulls right, you won't have no problem with them. If you raise pit bulls all right, you won't have no issue with them. There's a lot of stories about pit bulls that have attacked their owners, turned on their owners. They don't know why they've done it. It's in the breed. It's in the gene. But there's story after story about this, and I'm going to share one with you real quick, which is a very telling story about this. I found this because when I was talking to my wife about this spot, I said I need to find that story, because this story says a lot to those of you that think that if pit bulls are raised properly, then they'll be all right. Not so. So People Magazine, and this story is published October the 10th, 2022. At 12:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, published on October. It says, and some of you, after I started reading this, you've probably heard about this. 2 children killed, mother hospitalized after family pit bulls attacked them outside Tennessee home. The 2 dogs were euthanized after the deadly attack. Very good. That's exactly what should have been happening. They should have been killed. They should have been euthanized. I don't call it euthanized. They should have been killed, because that's what they did to these children. 2 children were killed, and their mother was hospitalized after the family's 2 pit bulls attacked them outside their family home in Tennessee, authorities said. Family members said Christy Jane Bernard, 30, suffered multiple injuries when she tried to pull the dogs off her 5-month-old son, Hollis Dean, and 2-year-old daughter, Lily Jane, who were killed in the attack. But she put her body on top of Lily's to try to protect her after the attack started. Bernard's husband's uncle, Jeff Gibson, told USA Today. Both dogs started attacking her while she lay on Lily. The October 5th attack lasted 10 minutes. 10 minutes. According to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, the children died at the scene. Bernard was taken to a local hospital where she is in stable condition. The 2 dogs, Cheech and Mia, were euthanized. Okay, now, so I can't promise you those children were her world. Let me go back. I can promise you those children were her world. And if there was any inkling of danger, she would listen to this now. I want you to, because I'm gonna be done here in about 5 minutes. Okay. If there was any inkling of danger, she would have never had those dogs near her kids. Bernard's best friend, Kelsey Canford, told Fox News Digital. Those children were everything to them, and they just have a really long journey ahead. Canfield said Cheech and Mia had been with the family for 8 years. 8 years. That attack lasted longer than any one of us could have ever imagined. She added, it's unclear why the dogs attacked. 8 years. These people had these dogs for 8 years. And then they attack and kill the 5-month-old son, Hollis Dean, and 2-year-old daughter, Lily Jane. They had these dogs all this time. And then, now this is a terrible thing, because pit bulls, there's no way that you should have your children around pit bulls. Y'all, pit bulls have been killing babies for a long time. I'm 65 years old, and I didn't really start paying a lot of attention to about this stuff for maybe 10, 15 years ago. And they have been killing their owners. They have been killing children. They have been tearing people to pieces. We had a 82-year-old man that was killed here in San Antonio not too long ago. The owners of the dogs just went to court about that. Listen to me. This is a terrible thing, y'all. This is lack of responsibility. This is the inability to make critical decisions. Critical decisions. This whole things with these fur babies. People spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on their dogs, you know, and they won't spend hardly a dime on their child when their child is sick. And you can get mad if you want to. It's the truth. People love their animals more than they love these children, more than they love their children, and so they allow these animals, these dangerous animals, to be around their children, not considering the fact that what could snap inside these animals and cause them to do with this. They had these dogs for 8 years, 8 years, and then that last 2 years of that 2-year-old, the dogs had been in the home. The 5 months that the baby was in the dogs had been in the home. I don't know if they kept them in the house, in the backyard, in kennels or what, but they were there. And they were there to the point to where they got to these children and they killed this children. This little boy who just died in Converse because of the mauling of pit bulls. Y'all, listen to me. I hate pit bulls. I cannot stand them. So this is the thing. If you ever see this face and you have a pit bull, don't bring your pit bull around me, because I'm going to defend myself if I have to when it comes down to pit bulls, because I can't stand pit bulls. They're a very dangerous breed of dogs. Very dangerous breed of dog. If you use your mind, if you think about what you're doing and you have children in your home, you will not allow pit bulls to be around your children. And for this woman who's being charged with these charges, she was the one that was supposed to be taking care of the child. She didn't take care of that child. It's because of her that beautiful boy that you saw or that you're seeing in this video, beautiful child, dead, gone, 1 year old, just starting life. And now, because of the irresponsibility of this woman, Rodriguez, leaving her 13-year-old daughter to fend these vicious dogs off, this little boy is dead and her daughter has injuries. Listen to me, I'm done. Just wanted to let y'all know, I have no love for pit bulls at all. I have nothing good to say about them at all. You could say, well, you're just afraid of them. I am afraid of them. I'm afraid of them to the point to where, because I am a concealed handgun carrier, I pray that nothing ever happens. But if I ever have to defend myself from one of these vicious dogs, listen to me. You could take a gun and lay a gun flat on a table or in a chair, and that gun is going to stay right there. It's not going to jump up and attack your children. It's not going to jump up and attack you. That gun or that long gun, wherever you lay it at, it's an inanimate object. That's where it's going to stay. But these vicious dogs, if they get it in their mind, to do what they want to do, they're going to jump up. And if you're not able to stop them, they could kill you as well as anybody in your home. Because they're live, they're living animals, and they have genes, and they do things based on on the type of animal that they are. I'm not no scientist. I can't tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that they have a special gene in them that causes them to do that. But if you have in your home, like this family did, pit bulls for 8 years, and then all of a sudden they turn and they tear your children apart and they try to kill you as you try to take care of your children, what does anybody expect? What are we supposed to expect to think about the dogs that do those kind of things? And I know that there are other dog breeds that have killed people, but none like the pit bull. The pit bull wears the crown of the animals that are dogs that are vicious. So with that said, that's why I like cats. Because cats, you can defend yourself more readily. Cat ain't gonna bother you. Cats are gonna run off. They'll run away from you before you run away from them. Because cats just don't want to be bothered. That's why I like cats. Meow out to you cats and to all you cat lovers. With that said, God bless you until we come back together in my next video. I feel like I might have forgotten something in there. If I did, I'll come back down the line with another short video to clarify whatever I might have forgotten. Okay, with that said, God bless you once again. Have a great day. Until we come back together in my next video, Farewell, y'all.